It's still starting. Hey there, welcome out to our presentation. We are discussing how to prepare for children financially, because we all know that can be pretty expensive. We are group 11, the best group. My name is Janson Michelsen. We are also joined with Taylor Moody and Tiffany Scott. First of all, we need to understand what to expect and that we are going to have to expect the unexpected. All the companies that we see nowadays are going to basically put their trust in the fact that we are going to want the best things for our kids. The cost of having a child has increased about 40% from 2000 to 2010. On average, the parent spends about $233,000 before their child turns 17 without paying for college. That's kind of crazy. One of the things that we really need to recognize here is that companies are going to tell you that you're going to need the best and newest items. Companies like Philips, Chico, Greco, all these great companies that we all know and love, but do we actually need them? Myself, I have seen products where they are $200, $300, but you can do the same thing at home with a fork and a spoon. You're not going to need those things. So my recommendation is, and from an article by Pino, mentioned that buy secondhand, budget carefully for your items that you need, buy in bulk and buy generic. Okay, I've seen way too many parents that buy these fancy little Nutri-Grain bars, but they're for babies and their costs triple the amount. Next, we have to plan for cutting costs before cutting the cord. When you're making SMART goals, this is really important to do with your partner. You need to discuss your home, your car, sleeping arrangements, parenting tactics, personal and co-parenting behaviors, family contact, short and long-term expenses, and saving assets allocations for emergencies. These are things that not only will help you prepare for having your baby, but will protect your marriages at the same time. It is a very stressful time, and you want to get all of that planning done before the baby comes. We all know that working without sleep is dangerous, and having a baby, that's almost guaranteed. While also making goals, there is a lot of help that you can get, so we have to definitely ask for that help. We have to first know our financial means, our poverty, where we are in the poverty line, look into life and health insurance. I know it's kind of scary to think about that, but that is part of life, is knowing that there is a possibility for difficulties during the surgery. Thinking about childcare, who's going to work and who's not going to work. Would it be beneficial to work? Another benefit, there are a lot of benefits here that are offered in Utah, including WIC and CHIP, which is Medicaid. Bishop Storehouse is huge from an article by Nova. These are all very important things that we need to recognize while we're planning before the baby comes. And here is our co-star, Tiffany Scott.
Well, the hospital stay can be a tremendous expense. So that is where you are going to also want to look at your plan, your insurance, what it covers. And if you wanted to save some money, there's ways that you can cut your costs. You can cut the cost of an epidural. They can range from around $10. For me personally, I would not cut out my epidural. I would find a way to save money for that. But you can also skip the hospital stays, and you can stay at a birthing center. And out of every 62 births in the U.S. in 2017, it was done at a birthing center. And the average cost of a birthing center is about $3,000 to $4,000. You can also do home birth. The home births, they've gone up 77% from 2004 to 2017. The average cost of a home birth is from $3,000 to $9,000, compared to a hospital stay where a C-section can run $8,000 to $14,000, and that is if there's not any complications. And also, while you're in the hospital, after your baby has arrived, you are going to need to fill out paperwork for the birth certificate and the Social Security card. This will need to be done as soon as possible. You need to have these in order to put your baby on your insurance. Most insurance companies give you a strict 30-day grace period to add the new baby. So you will need to do it quickly. Otherwise, you could get penalties or fees or not have your baby covered at all. And we will turn our time to Taylor Moody.
Okay, so post-baby expenses. You get home from the hospital and it's great and exciting, but now what? There are some things to consider. The average family will spend $12,000 to $13,000 on the baby's first year of life. So now is the time to clarify and update your budget. If you haven't been using a budget, now's the perfect time to start. Remember to track your income and your expenses, but also remember to now include all your baby expenses. And think about all the expenses that you are going to be using for your baby. Make those necessary adjustments, and you might need to think about what you want to prioritize and what you want to cut out. It's also important to remember to bulk up your emergency fund and to continue on your savings. Again, if you haven't started your emergency fund or your savings, now's the perfect time to start. Kids are unpredictable and you never know when something's going to happen. And so it's always nice to have that cushion. And so you're not stressed about money when something happens. Remember, all those expenses are different. There's anything from formula to baby food to clothing. And clothing is a little bit tricky because your baby is growing so much in the first year that your baby is going to be growing out of all those clothes. So you can use secondhand clothes for that. Diapers, that's a big expense. Babies can go through 12 to 13 diapers a day, probably even more. There's strollers and car seats and the nursery setup, all the doctor's visits, books and toys. So remember to be budget friendly and get creative with how you buy these things. It could be secondhand, it could be from KSL, have a baby shower, get things from family and friends, make your own food, and also you can breastfeed as long as you can to save money there. So next we have babies and beyond. So there's going to be lots of expenses all the way up till adulthood with these kids. Like stated previously, you can be spending over $200,000 until they are 18. So start saving now for college, and there's different ways you can do this. There's the 529 plan and other different ways. So start saving now because college is only growing in expense. It's from $20,000 to $45,000. Some other things is to update your beneficiaries on all your accounts. If you don't have a will, now's the perfect time to create one. And make sure you have everything in order. So if anything goes wrong, everything is situated. Remember, don't forget that your child will have annual expenses related to healthcare. Once you've added your baby to your insurance plan, read up on the copays, coinsurance, and deductibles. Your baby will have his or her own deductible to meet every year. Consider other financial products like life insurance and disability insurance, just so you can stay prepared as well. Look at your job benefits and insurance plans they offer. And remember to always ask for help if you are struggling, and go to a financial planner if you need. And that is the end of our presentation. I hope you liked it and learned a lot. And here are our references that we used.